everybody, I'm Stacia Drey.
And I'm Marijke Mendeszoon. You're watching EverGreenlee News. Our stories stay fresh for you.
In this, our first show of the year, we're looking at the big role agriculture plays at Iowa State University.
We'll see how agriculture students thrive at schools teaching farms.
Learn how farmers and drivers alike can stay safe during harvest time.
And we'll take a trip to Deal's Orchard in Jefferson, Iowa, where apples and fun grow on trees.
All that and more today on EverGreenlee News. Our stories stay fresh for you.
Oh no, come back!
Here at Iowa State, cattle raising is a passion that can turn into a profession.
In this story, reporter Christian Royston looks closer at how Iowa State students learn to love beef.
The cattle industry is important in the state of Iowa. That's why Iowa State works hard on developing students. Strong family values and experience help the students deal with the hard work of the industry.
I would say I'm more involved on the livestock aspect of it. I would say me and my mom do more of taking care of that part of it, and then my brother and my dad are obviously more on the crop side of it and do a lot of the farming. But I would say, like, from the livestock and raising cattle part, as I mentioned earlier, we run about 80 head of cattle, and my family's always been passionate about farming and the agriculture industry in general. If you want to compete at the highest level, like, you got to be all in.
Many students grew up raising cattle for different purposes. Whether it's for the beef industry or the show side, cattle farming takes a lot of hard work and dedication.
Well, my family raises 250 head of cattle, but it's like a second generation farm. So my grandpa's dad started it, and now my grandpa owns it. But I don't know, growing up, like, just working calves, that was rough. Like, I don't know, it's always just a hassle. It never goes smooth, but there's a lot of pros. Like, obviously, like, me being in the show industry side of it, I've learned so much, and commercial side of it too, like, that's a lot of work, and like, it's shown me how I need to, like, work hard if I want to reach my goals, obviously.
Iowa State focuses on getting students involved on the commercial side of things. It is very important to get students used to raising cows for the beef industry.
So I oversee all of our beef operations, from day-to-day operations at beef teaching, and then oversight at our beef nutrition farm north of town. Where we're at in the upper Midwest here is kind of a very special, unique place in the fact that you've got commercial producers, you've got seed stock producers, and you've still got some club calf operations running around.
This is Christian Royston reporting.
Thanks for that piece, Christian. Now we turn our attention to harvest time.
Harvest season is important to the ag industry, but it can be a dangerous time for both farmers and drivers on the road. Reporter Maddie Burl has this report.
Harvest time is an important season for farmers and Iowa State students alike, especially students from farm families.
Agriculture has always been a very large part of my life, and so it's always been kind of who we are as a family. I'm the fourth generation on our farm. I try and go home whenever I can to help during the harvest season. We have quite a few family members at home already. Our grandparents still help out on the farm, so they can get it done, but as they're getting older, they want to have more days off, obviously, so I try and just get home whenever I can.
Farming can be a dangerous job, so we asked some ISU ag students what kinds of precautions they take when helping out on their family farms.
We're during our busier season, like our fall right now. One of the biggest things is making sure all of our pieces of equipment have fire extinguishers on them, and just doing routinely checks on them just to make sure nothing would happen.
2007, we had a combine fire on our farm, so we just make sure we take extra precautions with fires and running when it's dry and windy. And also making sure you put your auger down before you go on the roads, watching out for power lines, stuff like that.
Precaution that has recently become pretty important to my family is making sure that you're wearing masks in like grain bins and hog confinements, because my grandpa was actually diagnosed with farmer's lung. He ended up having 20% lung capacity because he wasn't wearing his masks when he should have been, and it really took a toll on our family, and he ended up passing away.
So one of the biggest things I think would definitely be when we're trying to move equipment from field to field, so you're having to take big pieces of machinery down the highway and cars come up really quick behind you because they don't realize that you're going so slow. And so I think a big thing is just for people who are driving cars to recognize when you're coming up behind a piece of equipment. Lots of the newer pieces of equipment have a speed on the back that shows like how fast they'll typically go down the highway, so you know about what they're going, and then just make sure you keep your distance behind them, because especially with our larger pieces of equipment, it's very hard to see behind us when you're going down the highway.
My experience, my father and brother are the ones usually in the equipment, so if something were to happen to them, that would be like obviously a big impact on our family, but just making sure you slow down and pay attention. When you are off to the side and equipment is going slow, it's so easy to collide into them and get into a crash.
This is Maddie Burrow reporting.
Great work with that piece, Maddie.
After the break, reporter Emma Bryan takes us to a luncheon aimed at helping agriculture communication students get their careers going. You are watching EverGreenlee News. Our stories stay fresh for you.
At Iowa State, innovation is dynamic. It's collaborative. It's inviting ideas from all corners and working across disciplines. Because we've learned when ideas are shared, we all benefit. Innovate at Iowa State.
Welcome back. Next up, we'll see how agriculture communication students are networking with professionals. Emma Bryan has this story.
Back in October, first-year agriculture communication students attended a professionals luncheon to discuss careers in ag communications. The event was organized by Professor Angela Powers and was held at the Student Innovation Center.
And so, Dustin's right, farmers do have a BS detector like nobody else in the world. So I approach, it's really not, and I came from a journalistic background, and so that, and early in my career, man, I wanted to solve world peace with every article.
Supervising editor and farm broadcaster Dustin Hoffman points out the importance of gaining trust with ag industry sources.
I do a lot of work with policy and talking to people in government, both state and in national government. And I can tell you how many times I used to be in Minnesota, in Colin Peterson's district when he was the House Ag Committee chairman. I would get on the phone with him, and the first thing I'd ask him a question, how's it going? And he'd say, is your recorder on? And I would say, no, it's not. And he trusted that it wasn't, because he would unload stuff that would just make you really get an insight.
Professor Angela Powers thought the event would benefit students interested in AgCom careers.
So we applied for a grant, and we were able to host a nice luncheon, and then I had contacted one of our alums, and we worked together to put together a panel of professionals.
I think networking is important because it puts you in contact with people that can help advance you, that can help make your career the best it can be. You also learn a lot from people as well when you're networking. Like, you may learn something from someone that you never knew before that can help your career as well.
This is Emma Bryan reporting.
Well done, Emma. Networking is so important for careers, but so is being healthy mentally.
Very true, Marijke. Here's a story from reporter Melissa Ryan about ways students who work farms can stay in balance with their mental health and their studies.
At Iowa State University, students sometimes face the pressure of handling academics and farm life. Harvest is one of those high-stress times. Iowa State student Sophia Polkett talks about the stigma regarding mental health in the ag.
There's like a certain stigma around, especially like farmers and mental health, and it's super important that we need to kind of get away from that stigma a little bit.
At a recent ag communication luncheon, experts on the field talked about mental health in the farming industry.
The one thing you got to learn about is that you can't worry about absolutely everything going on around you. You can only really concern yourself with what you can control. And when those moments come up, it's easy to sit and worry about things far off in the future or what's this going to do later on. You have to really concentrate on the here and now. Be present where you're at, because you'll end up missing something where you're at. And so taking that time to take a breath, think about what you're doing, relax, and take that break from mental health as well. Don't get yourself overburdened, overworked, overstretched. But worry is the thing. It's the easiest thing to do. It's the easiest trap to fall into, but it's also the easiest thing to prevent if you take the time and realize that you can only work on things one step at a time.
Trey Fulbright, a broadcast meteorologist at KCCI in Des Moines, suggests a better way to deal with stress.
For mental health, always make sure that you take breaks and take time for yourself to take care of yourself. That's something I've had to really work on too, because sometimes I'll get so busy and get so focused on the task at hand that I haven't taken care of myself. So always make sure you have fun, set aside time for that.
This has been Melissa Ryan reporting.
Great work, Melissa. And now we have our daily dose. Iowa State Daily Reporter Byung Byung sits down with Agriculture, Education, and Studies Department Chair Michael Ritalik to talk ag.
Hey everybody, I'm Byung Byung, and you're watching EverGreenlee News. Our stories stay fresh for you. So I want to thank you, Mike, for sitting down with us today to answer these questions. So my first question is, how significant is ag education to Iowa State University?
Ag education plays a significant role across the university. Ag education and agriculture is one of our core industries across Iowa, and preparing young people for careers and opportunities in agriculture is one of the fundamental things that we have the opportunity to do here at Iowa State.
Got you. So why are hands-on experiences so important for agricultural students?
So when we start talking about hands-on experiences, what we do in agriculture quite often is being able to take the science and the research and the theory that we have the opportunity to learn and grow in the classroom. It gives us the opportunity to really take that out into the industry and apply it. And so our students not only get to learn about science, learn about the theories that help them in their curriculum, but then they get to translate that out into the field, out into farms and operations and businesses that they have. And so that really helps our students make that connection and apply it to business and industry in a way that helps agriculture grow and be successful.
So how does the university support ag students who also have to work on family farms?
And so when we start thinking about ag students and family farms and operations, being a land-grant institution, they not only do the research and help solve the difficult problems that are happening across those farms, we're preparing people for careers in agriculture, both in production agriculture, but also in business and industry within the state that support our ag industry. And then we also have extension and outreach that works directly with farmers, producers, growers in taking that knowledge and that new research and applying it. And so it's really a three-pronged approach when we work with agriculture and work with industries across the state that are involved in agriculture, so that we are solving those problems. We're taking that new knowledge that we're developing and applying it within the industry. And then also we're teaching young people about the latest and greatest technology and knowledge bases that we have in agriculture, and allowing them to take that into their careers and their livelihood after they graduate from Iowa State.
Gotcha. Thank you, Mike, and this is EverGreenlee News.
You're back with EverGreenlee News, and we're featuring agriculture. Getting hands-on experience at teaching farms helps ISU students prepare for future careers. Reporter Anna Russell shares her story.
Iowa State University offers a variety of hands-on experiences to its students in the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences. A big part of these hands-on experiences is the different teaching farms. Located at Iowa State, there are 15 farms situated on 450 acres of land. These farms range from equine farms to a grain science complex. Dr. Loretta Birkland, a veterinarian, recently spoke to students about caring for the teeth of horses during an equine science class.
So this is the Animal Science 216 equine class and dental lab today.
Caring for horses is a special craft.
Well, it's important for these students because this is part of their Equine 216 class. But if you are somebody who wants to be in the equine industry, knowing how to take care of animals, how to take care of the horses is very important. And again, the fact that Iowa State provides hands-on experience for our students is something that makes a bigger imprint on them than if it would just be classroom work.
Transfer student Riley Youngstead said she enjoys her experiences at the teaching farms.
It's different. There's a lot more people, a lot more variety, a lot more opportunity for sure. Like with the horse barns and with the labs and the horse classes and all that kind of stuff, which is what I'm interested in.
Professor Nikki Ferwada talks about why teaching farms are so important.
Our farms, all the animal science farms, are really here for teaching and learning, and they're put here as models for us to demonstrate for students for sure, but also some extension and some research happens at the different farms as well. The horse farm is primarily focused on teaching, so we offer a number, I think 11 different equine classes. And most of those are either primarily a lab or have a lab associated with those, so the horses then are used a lot in the courses for hands-on type learning that we think is really, really important to our animal science students.
This has been Anna Russell reporting.
Now we have a story about a student whose love of golden retrievers also helps people in need. Check out reporter Colton Pessel's touching story.
Students at Iowa State University have all kinds of opportunities to experience ag on and off campus. One such student is Graceland Dahlhauser, who spends her time raising golden retrievers.
My family raises golden retrievers and golden doodles for service dog organizations and for just family temperaments in the local Midwest area. And we really focus on ethical breeding. All of our dogs live indoors, and we test everything we possibly can. We test their hips, eyes, heart, elbows, and then our puppies go through this curriculum where at day 3 we touch their paws, and they have a lot of enrichment and socialization to help them be able to serve people later on as blind dogs, mobility dogs, therapy dogs in schools. So that's been really fun to see.
At the College of Veterinary Medicine, Professor Teresa Beechler is familiar with the life cycle of animals.
So basically kind of like an OBGYN for animals. So we work with doing breeding management, so determining when is the opportune time and trying to make everything optimal on both the male fertility and the female fertility to hopefully obtain a successful pregnancy. And that's both in horses or equine species, and then the same in dogs and cats. Mostly for small animals, it's majority dogs. In the state of Iowa, owners can breed their own dogs with really no education or no licenses that need to be obtained if it's just in a kind of a short setting. A lot of folks will use golden retrievers or even Labradors, I guess in my experience that I've been, for like seeing eye dogs for the blind or other therapy assistance animals for a whole bunch of purposes. And in general, it's so much just the nature of the dog breed to be very kind and friendly and not as fearful. But at least the people who are trying to do it the right way, everything they can, they're trying to do the best by the dogs and try to make sure they help find hopefully good families.
This is Colton Pestle reporting.
Thanks for that story, Colton. Those puppies are so cute. I think I want one, Marijke. Me too, Stacia. Now we go from puppies to pumpkins. Reporter Anna Russell got to hang out at Deal's Orchard and have a little fun.
Today we are at Deal's Orchard, about to experience all the fun different activities they have to offer their guests. You could go down a slide if you wanted to. Deal's Orchard is so much fun. Today at Deal's Orchard, we are with a guest of honor. What do you think of the orchard so far? Are you having fun here today? If you ever need to get some energy out, you can come down to the Apple Cave and use these wiggle cars. So today at Deal's Orchard, I'm here with
Sarah.
All right, so Sarah, what are you doing today here at Deal's?
I'm volunteering with Engineers Without Borders, so I'm running their pumpkin cannon.
What is Engineers Without Borders?
Engineers Without Borders is a club where engineers at Iowa State are able to actively work on what they're doing in classes and learning, and use what they're doing in projects in a rural community in the Upper West region of Ghana called Ulo.
How'd you get involved within that organization?
Yeah, I actually got involved my freshman year. I really wanted to be involved in an organization where I could use what I was learning to actively help people instead of waiting to graduate and then helping people. And Engineers Without Borders clicked with me, and I've been a part of it ever since.
So how did you guys decide to volunteer here at Deal's today? What was that process?
Yeah, so this is actually a fundraiser that we've been doing for pretty much as long as I can remember. During the month of October, our fundraising team reaches out to Deal's Orchard, and we have an agreement where we volunteer every weekend, and we send a set amount of volunteers. In return, they send us a donation through the ISU Foundation.
All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Thank you.
But no, I'm third generation here at the Orchard.
Nice.
And my grandfather started the Orchard back in 1917 when they moved down to the home place, which is a mile south of here.
Yeah.
And we've been raising apples for about 100 years. So yes, we're very much involved, and the whole family is actually.
Thank you for spending your day with me here at Deal's Orchard at their annual Fall Festival. I highly recommend anyone come out to check all the amazing activities out that they have to offer.
That's the real deal. I see what you did there. Thanks, Anna. And that's it for our show today. I'm Marijke Mendeszoon. And I'm Stacia Drey. You've been watching EverGreenlee News. Our stories stay fresh for you.
If we have a panel of speakers come to a class, we
I watched that.
How does that
We don't need it.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
it's fine.
fine.
Just keep going.